ERi-TV English News broadcast, dear viewers. I'm Heaven Johans, your news anchor for this session, presenting your domestic and international news for Monday, the 6th of January 2025, from our headquarters in Asmara. Do stay tuned and let's begin with the major headlines. His Holiness Abuna Petros gives benediction. International Conference on Eritrean Studies concludes. U.S. arms sales of $8 billion to Israel. And America and Britain target of severe winter storm. In our domestic news, His Holiness Abuna Petros, Archbishop of the Eritrean Tewahedo Orthodox Church, gave benediction in connection with Christmas. During his address, His Holiness Abuna Petros provided a comprehensive explanation of the spiritual significance of the holiday. He extended his warm Christmas greetings to the Eritrean people, both within the country and abroad, as well as to the defense forces. Furthermore, Abuna Petros urged the faithful to offer their support to the families of martyrs and to lend a helping hand to disadvantaged fellow nationals. In another news, International Conference on Eritrean Studies that was underway from 4 to 6 January at Asmara Palace Hotel under the theme International and Regional Cooperation for Sustainable Development concluded by passing various recommendations. At the closing event, Mr. Usman Saleh, Minister of Foreign Affairs, stated that the gathering has not merely been an academic exercise, rather, it has symbolized the convergence of scholarly rigor, policy-oriented discourse, and the unassailable code on intellectual pursuit that underscores Eritrea's firm commitment to knowledge-driven development. Underlining that the event has been instrumental in challenging and deconstructing the reductive narratives that have previously obscured Eritrea's aspirations and achievements, Minister Usman stated that for too long, certain sectors of the global discourse have propagated superficial caricatures that contradict the rich socio-political complexities of these nations. Through the empirically grounded research and distinct debates presented, Eritrea has laid the cornerstone for more balanced and equitable understanding of the country, one that accords due recognition to its developmental philosophy, its resilient people, and its strategic aspirations. Minister Usman restated that Eritrea is building a society that is not only resilient in the face of adversity, but is also capable of harnessing its potential for transformative change, where no one is left behind. Minister Usman further noted that it's equally pertinent to acknowledge that the African continent continues to wrestle with the malignant effects of tribal and ethnic conflicts and external interferences, which exacerbate socio-political fractures. The legacy of colonization, coupled with the entrenchment of structural dependencies, has deepened these challenges, undermining the continent's ability to forge unified progress. In this regard, Minister Usman underscored that Eritrea's advocacy for modular regional integration, as articulated in its long-standing policy perspective, offers a pragmatic framework for fostering cooperation and addressing shared challenges. Eritrea seeks to contribute to the establishment of a stable and prosperous regional order, which needs a collective commitment to addressing the root causes of conflict and underdevelopment, including the pernicious legacies of colonization, dependency, and external interference. At the conference, 154 research papers were presented, including on natural and social sciences, agriculture and natural resources, archaeology and national heritage, diaspora opportunities and challenges, economic development, environment and climate change, language and linguistics, law, politics and regional and global issues, science and technology, as well as folklore and music. Academicians, experts and researchers from Germany, Italy, the UK, People's Republic of China, Russian Federation, Hungary, India, Egypt, Uganda, Somalia, the US, Canada and others attended the conference. In another news, a 3-month theoretical and practical vocational training on maintenance of motorboats and computers was provided to 60 youth, including 13 females, in the port city of Asab. Indicating that the trainees were from government institutions and youth, Mr. Usman Abdul Qadir, head of the National Union of Eritrean Youth and Students in the Southern Red Sea region, stated that the training will have significant contribution in addressing the challenge that their institutions could encounter. Lieutenant Colonel Gautam Kidana, commander of the Naval Force of Southern Command, noting the significance of the training, highlighted that the training will have a significant contribution in solving the existing problems in maintenance of motorboats. He also called the trainees to work in collaboration with the Naval Force. Mr. Burhana Kidana, representing the governor of the region, called on the trainees to develop their skills through practices. Do stay tuned, dear viewers, for we'll be back with the international news after the short break. Welcome back. The administration of the outgoing United States President Joe Biden, who has supplied Israel of more than $22 billion arms sales since the end of 2023, has notified Congress a new plan of $8 billion arms sale to Israel. This is according to U.S. media reports. The weapons will include 226-kilogram warheads, precision-guided munitions, artillery shells, missiles for jets and attack helicopters, and bomb fuses, along with air-to-air missiles to intercept projectiles, the reports added. The sale is considered to be a support to Israel on the military harass it's conducting in the Middle East in general and Gaza in particular. It's known that the United States has been blocking the international outline resolution on Israel, which indicates the end of the military operation it's conducting in Gaza through its veto power. According to reports from the UN, around 46,000 and 120,000 Palestinians have been killed and injured respectively due to the military operations being conducted since August 2023. In tonight's final report, a severe winter storm has hammered the United States, with meteorologists warning more than 60 million people in the country's east facing blizzard conditions and some areas seeing the heaviest snowfall in a decade. Reports indicate that Kentucky, Missouri, and Virginia are some of the states under immediate threat. A state of emergency has been declared in these states, with temperature reaching below -18 degrees Celsius. According to reports, the weather extreme is considered to continue for the coming 3 days. More than 60 million people are in the path of the dangerous storm, set to plunge the eastern half of the U.S. into a deep freeze of Arctic air through Monday, resulting in severe travel disruptions. A similar situation in Britain has also caused a wrecking disorder in air and land transportation activities. Scientists say extreme weather is becoming more common and more severe as a result of man-made climate change. With this, we conclude our news for this session. Dear viewers, time for a quick recap of the major headlines. His Holiness Abbot Petros gives benediction. International Conference on Eritrean Studies concludes. U.S. arms sales of $8 billion to Israel. And America and Britain target of severe winter storm. This was The World on Monday with ERi-TV English News broadcast. Dear viewers, thank you for joining and have a Merry Christmas.